Guys, we are back for mission 4 from the Days Gone By campaign. This is Running Into Trouble. So hopefully it's going to be a shorter game. This is going to have Rick and Glenn. They are down there wearing their gory clothing. And this time they're going to have to search these 5 supply tokens that are out here on the board until they can find the ammo cache. Once they get a hold of it, they have to get off the board through the opposite corner. We'll take a spin all the way around the board. So we've got supply markers on each of the cars, and then one dead center in the middle of the board. We'll search it, we'll flip it, we'll look for the ammo, and then we'll get off the board here. There's the whole board. So here are survivors for this game. We're going to have Rick Grimes as the Atlanta camp leader, and we get 30 points of equipment to split between Rick and Glenn, not including the gory clothing. That's a freebie. So we gave Rick his hatchet. Alright, so our second survivor, we got Glenn as the Atlanta scavenger. Glenn's going to come with the nimble special rule and tread lightly. He also gets the free gory clothing, and we gave Glenn the riot shield. And with the extra 7 points left, we're going to use one of the new veteran skill cards, and this is quick. This is going to let Glenn make 2 move actions in the same turn, so we can hopefully get around the board and search the objectives as quick as possible. Alright, so we have the threat counter set to 1, and we're going to start turn 1. For turn 1, we're going to have Rick run 8 inches over this way in the direction of this Jeep. So we'll go ahead and bring him over here. 8 inches. Now, because he's wearing the gory clothing, that has the masked scent special rule, so he's going to roll the black die, and on a blank, the walker will come in contact with him. On a star, the walker will stay 1 inch away. So the walker is going to stay away. So Walker Ronnie is going to stay 1 inch away from Rick, and we'll go over to Glenn to start. Okay, so turn 1 for Glenn is going to be very similar to Rick. We're going to try and get him over here to search that vehicle, and Glenn is also going to run 8 inches, and because he is a runner, he automatically gets to clear that piece of terrain. So Glenn is going to come over to here. Now, Glenn will roll to see if he creates noise while he's running. So Glenn does not make noise. And now for Glenn's second action, he is going to sneak over here another 4 inches closer to the vehicle. Okay, we will check the kill zones now. So we have Walker Ronnie. He is going to stay 1 inch away from Rick. We also have the guy here in front of the Jeep who is outside of anyone's kill zone there. So we'll move into our first event card. First event card is Judgment Day. So we are at all quiet. So we are going to go +1 threat up to 2 and draw another event card and resolve it. Then roll black. On a badge, start the event phase again, resolving the kill zone, and then another event card. Okay, so the second event card will be Signed from on high. So now we will lower the threat by 1, back to 1, and there is no additional effect. So now we will roll, and we roll blank. So that event phase is over. Okay, so that's the end of the event phase. There is no one in melee combat. There are no bites. There are no prone walkers. We will increase threat by 1. Start turn 2. So start of turn 2. The threat is now set at 2. We are going to have Rick start the turn by move 4 here. And then continue the move another 4 here to the front of the Jeep. So that means Rick creates noise, so we'll now roll to see if he benefits from the mask scent. And he does. So that's going to have this walker come off of the Jeep and stop an inch away from Rick. Alright, so for Glenn, that's going to free up the Jeep. He can now move into contact with it and search the first loot marker. And it is not the ammo. So that's both their actions. We will move into the kill zones. So again, we just have this guy who stays an inch away from Rick. There. And over here, no one is close enough to Glenn. So we'll move into the second event card. So the second event card is going to be Armored Assault. Got all the expansions mixed in here. We're getting a mix of everything. So 2 armored walkers enter play and are moved towards the closest survivor. So we'll go grab them, drop them on the board. Okay, so Armored Assault. We have 1 armored walker back here that came on from the back side of the board, and 1 over here that came on next to the old man making his way down this way. No one in melee, so we'll skip that phase. And there are no bites, no prone walkers. That'll be the end of turn 2. We'll up the threat by 1. We'll start turn 3 on threat 3. Okay, so start of turn 3. We're going to try and keep the same pattern going on with Rick running around 2. And then finishing his move right there. We'll see if he's going to benefit from the mask scent. And he does not. Alright, so this time, this closest walker is going to move into base contact with Rick. So, that's okay because it still frees up that supply token. So now we're going to take Glenn, and Glenn is going to run 5 inches, and we'll see if he makes noise on his run. And he makes noise. So because Glenn made noise on his run, we now have to roll again to see if the gory clothing will help him out. And it does. So we're going to have the closest walker move into contact with Glenn, which is going to be out here. So she's going to move up, but stop an inch away because of his clothing there. So for Glenn's second action, we are going to search the center supply token and find not the guns again. Alright, so we'll check kill zones. We now have Rick in combat with this guy, and then Glenn is just under the kill zone of her, but because of his gory clothing, she is going to stay away. So we'll go into our next event card. And the next event card will be the Rapture. So plus red threat, and all prone walkers stand up. There are no prone walkers in play. Draw another card. So we'll do threat first, and then second card. So plus red threat, plus 0. So threat stays at 3, second event card. Mega Herd. All threat levels, a herd of walkers enters play. Player with initiative places the first walker using normal rules. Players alternate placing until all walkers are on the same edge. So we are at all quiet. So we are going to place 3 walkers. Okay, so those 3 walkers came on that board edge down there, and everyone moved towards Rick. So we had 1 going to the back of the Jeep, and the other 2 are headed towards the middle of the board. Okay, so event card is taken care of. We will now move into combat. So threat will go up 1. We'll be at 4, and we're going to have Rick against 1 walker. So Rick is going to roll 1 white for his base melee, 1 red for his hatchet, against 1 purple for the 1 walker. So Rick rolls headshot, and we will get rid of that walker. So he is removed, and there are no prone walkers, there are no bites. We will end that turn, increase threat by 1. Alright, so start of turn 4, we are on threat 5. We're going to have Rick go about 5 inches there, and then 2 inches down this way. We'll roll to see if he benefits from the mask scent, and he does. So this walker will come out of contact with the truck and move an inch away from Rick. So for Glenn's first turn, he will then move into contact with the truck, and for his second action, search the truck and find not the guns. That was our actions. We'll go into our event card, and the event is surrounded. So we'll go +1 threat up to 6, and player with initiative chooses a standing survivor, kill zone around him, and blue walkers come into play around the kill zone. So we'll put the kill zone around Rick, and we'll roll the blue die. So we are going to bring on 1 additional walker. Okay, so we'll put the kill zone over top of Rick, and we'll bring in 1 walker back here, just outside the kill zone, and we have no melee, no bites, no prone walkers. Increase threat by 1 and end the turn. So we're going to start turn 5. Threat is up to 7, and just so you can kind of see the crazy amount of walkers that are down here towards the front of the board, it's a lot. So we're going to try to make our way over towards the other police cars, search them, hopefully find these guns, and get out of here. So for the start of this turn, we are again going to have Rick try and run over to that police car. Rick is not going to try to climb. Instead, we're going to go 1 inch that way, in between Glenn and the barrier, and then about 7 inches over here. We'll roll to see if the gory clothing is still working, and it does not. This walker is going to come down and engage Rick. So now for Glenn, Glenn is going to try to get all the way over there to that car. So he can make it the full 8 inches. He's just going to turn and run all the way over here to the car. We'll see if he makes noise on his run action. So Glenn does not make noise. So Glenn makes it across the board. Second action, we're going to search the first police car and find the guns. So we have found the guns. We are now going to get off the board. Alright, so now that we have that done, we will go into the kill zones. It's just Rick and this 1 walker that will be engaged by anyone. Everyone else is outside the kill zones. So we will go for our next event card. Lurkers in the dark. So +1 threat up to 8. And the first thing says, all threat levels, if night fighting is not in play, discard, discard, and draw another. So we do not have night fighting. We'll draw another card. Next card is won't stay down. So we are still in low threat. For each prone walker, roll a black die. We don't have any prone walkers, so we are just going to add 1 to the threat level. So we'll add 1. We are up to 9, and we are now in medium threat. So we'll now move into melee combat. So because of melee, threat goes up 1 to 10, and we'll have Rick fight this 1 walker. So again, Rick rolls 2 white, the walker will roll 1 purple, Rick wins combat. So Rick will win combat. She will get knocked back 1 and knocked prone. So we'll mark her prone. And she's the only prone walker. We don't have any bites. So we'll roll to see if she stands back up. So on a bad, she stays down. On a blank, she'll stand back up. She's going to stand back up. Alright, so she's going to stand up. Remove prone marker. Increase threat by 1 up to 11. And end the turn. Okay, we are going to start turn 6. And the threat is now on 11, which means that we are going to have to roll the black die every time a walker would move into contact with us. We're going to start with Glenn here, and we're going to try to get him as close to the board edge as possible. So Glenn is going to run 8 inches out this way, and we'll roll to see if he makes noise while he is running. So he does not make noise. So for Glenn's second action, he's now going to sneak even closer to the board edge. So we'll put him down 4 and move him up here. So we are pretty close to making it off of the board with Glenn. Alright, so back here for Rick. Rick is also going to start to make his way out here off of the board. So we're going to have Rick also run the full 8, somewhere around there. We'll bend that corner, and we'll see if Rick can benefit from his gory clothing still. And he still does. So this armored zombie is going to stop just short of Rick. Alright, so now for kill zones, we're going to have to roll again to see if the clothing will work because we are a medium threat. So we'll start with Rick, and then we'll roll for Glenn. Alright, so we'll start with Rick. And Rick does not. And now for Glenn. Glenn's still okay. He's not trying to fight anyone. So Rick is going to be in combat with this armored walker. We'll do our event card first. And we are going to have the car alarm start to go off. So we're going to pick a car. It's going to create mayhem, and then it's going to keep doing it until we turn it off. So let's pick the Jeep back there. Alright, so here's what happened. We set the alarm off on the Jeep back there, and you can see that it is the absolute last place that you would want to be right now. It is just swarmed by walkers with plenty more coming at it. Alright, so that also increased the threat by 1. So the threat is on 12 because of the mayhem from the Jeep. It's going to move up to 13 because of the combat with Rick. So Rick with his 2 white against the walker, who is going to avoid the first headshot if Rick rolls 1. Alright, so we're just going to knock that guy back. So Rick's going to win combat. He's going to get knocked back 1 and prone. He's the only prone walker, so we'll roll for him in the end phase here and see if he stands back up. He's going to stand back up. So we will remove prone marker, increase threat by 1, up to 14. We are now in high threat, and start the next turn. Alright, so we are going to start the next turn. Threat's on 14. We are now in high threat. So all we have to do is get Glenn off of the board edge because he is carrying the munitions store marker. So Glenn's going to start the turn. He's going to move off the board. Alright, so Glenn makes it off the board with the bag of guns, and we complete the mission. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. This one was fun. We got to see lots and lots of walkers come on the board. We got to go through a lot of newer event cards from expansions, from booster packs. We got to see some cool terrain out there. And we got to put try to make some gory clothing to put on these guys. So let me know what you guys think of the video. Do me a favor and go back and check out some of the other videos. You can watch the product reviews for the terrain, the accessory reviews, Prelude to Woodbury. Check out the first 3 battle reports from Days Gone By, and then watch for number 5 and 6. And you can watch them all in order. So hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe.